Thank goodness for government. It's not something I say often, but there are some things I want my government to do, including one thing not listed in here in the Constitution, something the founders never thought about: pollution control. My beloved free market isn't so great at handling that one. One factory smoke goes to other people's lungs. What does the factory care? Some libertarians argue we could sue the polluters, but our legal system is so gummed up that really wouldn't work. It would take forever, cost a fortune, mostly enrich the lawyers. So that's why I say thank goodness for the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. They made the air cleaner than it used to be. When I was a kid in this town, you couldn't open windows because soot would come in. Now we can. And thank goodness for water pollution rules. The river just outside the studio was once disgusting, but now that's different. Even here, within sight of the Empire State Building, within a short distance of millions of people flushing, I'm willing to do this. I live to tell about it. The Hudson is totally swimmable now, so it's great that government has cleaned up the air and the water. But now that they've accomplished that, do they then say, okay, we've done most of the good we can do, and shrink? No. Government never does that. They always want to do more, and that upsets one medical doctor. He says the EPA now kills people. This doctor also happens to be a U.S. Senator, Senator John Barrasso from Wyoming. So what do you mean killing people?
Well, actually, I've come out with a report because I'm a member of the Environment and Public Works Committee of the United States Senate, and the report is red tape is making Americans sick, and it's the result of the high unemployment rate. When people lose their jobs and are out of work for long periods of time, as we're seeing right now with over 8% unemployment, those folks who are out of work but want to go to work are more incidents of illness, of hospitalizations, and of premature death. And it's because of these incredible number of rules and regulations that are very costly to our economy and add very little benefit to the environment.
Now, after years of consumer reporting, I came around to the same conclusion, but I assume when you say this to most people, they say, what are you talking about? The EPA makes the world cleaner, makes America cleaner, and that has to be good for our health. A tangential reaction to unemployment making people sick? What?
Well, if you take a look at where we used to be 40 years ago and where we are now, the air is cleaner, the water is cleaner, all of those things are true.
Reverse the problem.
Absolutely. And we're now at a point where to get a very small improvement is very expensive in terms of actual dollars in production of energy, as well as in the health of people that are out of work. We see a higher risk of high blood pressure, you see stroke, heart disease, as well as depression, anxiety, amazingly a higher incidence of cancer in these people, and higher rate of suicide.
The EPA rule means that the factory may not open. It means that every business takes longer to open. It means that money that might have gone to create new things now goes to pollution controls, which we want, but that doesn't create the jobs that a free economy does.
And it also closes down coal-fired power plants. I think there are over 50 across the country that have either closed or announced they've closed. The impact of that on a community and all of those lost jobs, which are good-paying jobs with benefits, is devastating to that community. This administration has now issued over 1,300, finalized over 1,300 regulations that are called economically significant regulations, meaning they cost to the economy.
Meaning even the administration, the EPA admits that.
Admits that the cost is over $100 million per regulation. And the EPA says, oh, but the benefits are so great, and the benefits they claim are a reduction in future health care costs to people. But there's no way to prove that. I mean, the costs are real. The benefits are unknown. But yet these people are out of work. We still have this long period of unemployment in this country, and we know that people are being made sick by the regulations because they can't get back to work.
The EPA has a press release they issued on this. The benefits of avoiding early death, preventing heart attacks and asthma, far exceed the costs of implementing clean air rules.
Well, that's their made-up numbers. These are people that are sitting behind their computer screens who are fixated on small incremental improvements and we found that they are cooking the books. Fundamentally, we see that people that are out of work for an extended period of time have chronic long-term unemployment, higher risks of premature death, higher risks of heart disease, higher risk of strokes. You can kind of run the list of high blood pressure, anxiety, depression. Police chiefs now are reporting higher incidents of spousal abuse in a number of cities, and they say it absolutely has to do with the economy and the unemployment.
And what reaction do you get from your fellow senators when you say this? Because this is hard to get your brain around.
Well, colleagues on my side of the aisle and people who practice medicine like I have for 25 years and have taken care of individual patients who have been out of work for extended periods of time know the added stress that that puts on a family. They understand that. People who are fixated with the EPA, they're following a different drummer and really are buying into so many of the beliefs of the extreme environmentalists.
Now, this show is titled, What You Think You Know May Not Be So. People think they know that the EPA is saving us every day. And here's a reaction to your argument from a big deal California senator.
Senator Barrasso's comments lead me to believe he lives in an alternate universe.
An alternate universe? This is what my neighbors in New York say when I say this stuff.
Well, Barbara is the chair of the Environment and Public Works Committee, which is why I'm working so hard to have the Republicans take over the Senate.
She's now your...
She's above
you in the...
She will not be the chairman anymore, and the Democrats and their environmental agenda, which is an extreme agenda, won't be in charge and calling the shots on this. I worry about this unemployment rate, which continues to be so high, so many Americans out of work. I want to get a healthy economy and a healthy environment, and I think we can do absolutely both of them. But when we follow this extreme environmental agenda, which is very, very costly, and the benefits really are unknown, I don't think we're helping our country.
Thank you, Senator John Barrasso.